Hey everybody, this is Will, and today we're going to be talking to you about Doomlings, a delightful game for the end of the world. Alright, so setup is actually pretty simple. Players are going to take the Doomlings Ages cards that do not say Catastrophe at the top of them. They're going to give these a good shuffle. And then once that's completed with a decent shuffle, you're going to take 3 cards and make 3 different piles. So 3, 3, and 3. Players are then going to take the Ages cards that do say Catastrophe at the top, again, giving them a good shuffle, placing 1 with each pile. Then you're going to shuffle each of these cards, each of these 4-card piles, placing them on top of each other, like so. And for the sake of demonstration, just kind of giving you a quick shuffle. Then players are going to take the card called the Birth of Life, place that on top of the age pile as well. Each player takes one of the gene pool cards, depending on whatever they like as far as like color variation. I think it's amazing that there's different colors. So you notice you have 6 of these because the game does play 2 to 6. So we're just going to grab one at random. I want something with blue, like blue. All right, so then you're going to set this number at the 5 indicator. Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So we're going to place that down in front of me. And then my opponent is going to do the same thing, placing a 5 in front of them. Next, you're going to shuffle these cards called trait cards. There are a bunch of them. I mean, we're not just talking a couple. There are a bunch of these cards. You're going to give these a very thorough shuffle. When they do come out of the package, they're not they're all color independent, so they're all mixed. They're not mixed in. So you got to give these a real good shuffle. And I kind of show you a couple of what these really are. These traits have a couple different things that are important for them. One, they have a name. They do have a little bit of bloop. So it says, this poop is trying to tell me something. It's trying to smell. And then the number of points that the card is worth down there. So it also has the color corresponding. So this one being flight. It says, the sun is no match for my waxy wings. Swap hands with an opponent. That's an action when you play it. It's worth 2. Photosynthesis. Says, munchies, some photons, nom nom nom. Draw 2 cards. If either are green, play 1 immediately. 1. Alright, so there just are a bunch of different cards and they interact in different ways. No card is the same in this game, which I find absolutely amazing. So, alright, so you're going to give those a good shuffle. Alright, to start the game, players are each dealt 5 cards off the top of the trait deck. Then the dealer is going to draw the top card off of the age pile. In this instance will always be the Birth of Life for the first turn. And this one's Doomlings, the Birth of Life, some pretty cool art. +5 to your gene pool, hence why we're at +5 down here. And then until World's End, play 1 trait each turn, then Stabilize to end your turn. Alright, so what this is really telling us here is we must first follow the age, and then we have to play a trait. Okay? So on your turn, basically you follow the age, then you have to play a trait out of your hand. So what we're going to do here is I've got lots of different cards to choose from. Let's go ahead and look at Warm Blood. I'm going to go ahead and play that one. This one says, pretty funny art there. Are you trying to boil my blood? And then it's +2 to gene pool, -1 victory points. Which, hey, we'll see what happens there. My gene pool then does raise to 7. But then I do get to play 1 trait out of my hand. So I've only got 4. Let's go ahead and play the Third Eye. So when I play it, I take a peek at the next age, and then I can play 1 additional trait. So I play the Third Eye. I could take a peek here, seeing that we have Age of Wonder coming up for the next turn. And then I can play 1 additional trait. So we can play Impatience, which then that allows me to, says, would you make a move already? Looking at his watch, draw 3 cards. So I would then draw 3 trait cards. 2, 3. Okay, so I now have 5 cards, and then I have to stabilize. Stabilize meaning just draw to my hand size. So I'm back up to 7 cards. So really this let me draw ahead of time and get a victory point. There are other instances when it may help you as well. So stabilization is basically you must get your cards in your hand equal to your gene pool. You only draw or discard when you stabilize, typically at the end of the turn, unless a card says you do otherwise. So this may have been good to play first. I don't know. So then play would go to the next player. They would do their actions, and then the dealer would then draw this card here called Age of Wonder, and you must end your turn with 4 cards in your hand. So again, you do this. You follow the rules on here. Then you play a trait out of your hand. So I'm going to take a look at my hand, for example. So this turn, I'm only going to be playing 1 card, 1 trait. So we're going to make sure it's the best one. Then, we can use like this one, for example, called Viral. Like, share, comment, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. Ha ha ha! And then this one here, World's End, choose a color. Opponents receive -1 for each trait of that color in their trait pile. So I would just choose a color, probably one that they haven't played yet, or maybe even hold on to this till closer to the end of the round or the end of the game. And play like just continues until one of these cards, like a catastrophe, is drawn. This one is called Pulse Event. -1 to the gene pool, so everybody follows that. Discard 1 card from your hand for every purple trait in your trait pile. Okay? And then the World's End effect doesn't actually go off because we're not actually on the World's End. The last card, the last trait, or age card that is a catastrophe would actually end it. So for example, this catastrophe would go off before these ages would actually function and trigger. So we would actually play those, and this catastrophe would end the world. We would discard 1 green trait from your trait pile. So you do this, 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 and the world would end from a mass extinction. So, all right, let's go back up to tell you about my final thoughts. All right, so what do I think about Doomlings, a delightful card game for the end of the world? I gotta say, I actually really enjoyed this small boxed game. Normally, I don't like the small box games, and just because of if I'm gonna play something, man, I want to play something with a little more meat and gravitas. And I gotta say, this one was actually really fun because it held my attention the entire time, not knowing when another player was gonna play or draw, because every single card is different. And there's too many game companies that they just say, well, okay, we're going to carbon copy this card 8 times, and they're going to throw it in the deck, and, we're not going to actually work at it. Man, Justice and Andrew, you guys knocked it out of the park with this game. So give them a round of applause, because not too many game companies do that kind of thing. And this is just absolutely fantastic. So I can't say enough about the card quality, the components, the gameplay. I love the fact that there's not just the 3 catastrophe cards. Make sure I said that word right. I like the fact that there's tons of them. And when you're playing the game, you never know what catastrophe is actually going to happen or when it's going to happen. You know they're coming, but you don't know how. And you don't know how many turns you actually have until a catastrophe happens. And it's like, okay, what do I plan ahead? What do I need to do? Every catastrophe does something that affects the game. My favorite player count is definitely the 4-player count, just because there's a lot more interaction, I feel. Not that you don't interact with just the one player sitting across from you, but I felt like it was more of an event when there was more people playing than just more than 2. This game is great at 2, but 4 is, to me, the sweet spot. But the components, again, off the hook, off the chain, as far as like what they do with a small box. The card quality, the art, while minimalistic, is so individualized. Every single card, again, different different powers in every single card. Every single card, a different power. I love that. I absolutely love that, because you never know what's going to happen next. And that's what made this small box game so intriguing and so exciting for me to want to play again and again and again. So, all right, everybody, this has been Will from Mature Minded Gamers, so please hit that like and subscribe button. The Kickstarter for this game is coming out later this year, so be sure to check that out as well, or you're watching it right now from the Kickstarter page. So until next time, this has been Will from Mature Minded Gamers. Everyone, take care.